It started like any regular late-night talk show. Cheers from the crowd, warm lights, and the familiar, calm smile of Hollywood icon Denzel Washington as he stepped onto the stage. But by the end of that night, Denzel would be in tears on live television, and the world would never forget what triggered it. As the host joked and played clips from Denzel's latest film, something in his eyes seemed distant, like a storm was quietly brewing behind his smile. Then came a surprise. Denzel, the host, grinned. "We have a special call for you live from someone far away." The screen behind Denzel flickered. The flag of Burkina Faso appeared. Confused murmurs rippled through the audience. And then a voice, "Good evening, Mr. Washington. This is Ibrahim Traoré, President of Burkina Faso." Denzel froze. The room went silent. Not a sound, not even a breath. No one could have predicted what followed. President Traoré's voice was calm and respectful, with a touch of a French accent. "You don't know me, Mr. Washington," he began. "But when I was 14, barefoot in Burkina Faso, I watched you in glory. I saw a black man, not begging, not afraid, but crying for justice. That night I told my mother, one day I will fight for people too, like him." The host sat in stunned silence. Denzel's hands trembled, his mouth opened, then closed. "I remembered your strength," Traoré continued, "your words, your eyes. When my people needed a leader, I stood, not because I was fearless, but because I had seen what courage looked like in you." Denzel lowered his hand, his eyes red. "You're telling me I helped shape a president?" he whispered. "No, sir," Traoré replied. "You helped shape a man who refused to kneel to injustice." The audience gasped. A single tear slipped down Denzel's cheek. "Thank you, my brother," he said softly. But Traoré wasn't done. "I speak to you not just as a president, but as a man who owes a debt in Burkina Faso. When someone saves your soul, we do not forget." Then came the moment that would change Denzel's life. "I am officially inviting you to Ouagadougou," Traoré said, "to be honored. And more than that, I want to name a leadership school after you, a place where children will learn to stand tall, as I once learned from watching you." Gasps filled the room. Denzel's voice cracked. I don't deserve that." "That's why you do," Traoré answered. The screen went black, and there in front of millions, Denzel Washington buried his face in his hands and sobbed, not from sorrow, but from the overwhelming truth that one man's voice can cross oceans and shape destinies. But that was only the beginning. Within 24 hours, Denzel was quietly packing a small bag. No entourage, no headlines, just a man called to purpose. Back in Ouagadougou, President Traoré waited at the palace window. No cameras, he told his aides, no speeches, just truth. When Denzel's plane landed, there was no red carpet, just a black SUV and one man waiting beside it. No medals, no fanfare. It was him, President Traoré. They embraced without words. "I didn't come as a star," Denzel whispered. "I came as a brother." They drove past villages, markets, barefoot children waving as they passed. "This," Traoré said, stopping at a humble clay house, "was my home." Inside, it was quiet, no luxury, just a woven mat, faded photos and history. Then Traoré handed Denzel a wrinkled photograph, a young boy with an older woman. "She raised me. While my parents worked, she fed me, bathed me, taught me strength. She's still alive," he added quietly. They drove to a rural school where she worked, still cleaning classrooms at 85. She says, "God gave me legs, I'll use them until he takes them." When they arrived, there she was, bent, proud, broom in hand. Denzel stepped out of the car, frozen. "Mahawa," Traoré whispered. She looked up, eyes filling with tears. They embraced grandson and grandmother. Then she turned to Denzel. "You, "You're him," she said, touching his face. That moment broke the internet. But what followed would shake an entire nation. Under a baobab tree, Mama Hawa sat between Denzel and Traoré, telling stories of little Ibrahim giving her his only mango so she wouldn't go hungry. Then, from her apron pocket, she pulled out a yellowed paper. It read, "One day, I will be a leader. I will find you, Mama. I promise." Denzel wept. "She held on to hope," he said. "That's the most powerful kind of faith." A barefoot child ran up to them. "Mama, will you play?" She did, laughing, barefoot, joyful, and Denzel found something sacred. That evening, Traoré took him to a private room in the palace. No guards, just a thick wooden door. Inside, old notebooks, maps, and a framed photo of Mama Hawa and young Ibrahim laughing. "This," Traoré said, "is my real treasure room." He handed Denzel his first dream journal. "She believed in me when I had nothing." Denzel nodded. "You lead like a son who remembers love." And that, Traoré said, is the essence of leadership, gratitude. And then came the surprise. The next day they returned to Mama Hawa's school. No press, just teachers and children. Traoré knelt before her, presenting a golden medallion engraved with her name. "For your service to this nation," he said. Denzel stepped forward. And from the world of cinema, he added, "Your story will become a film. Every cent will build schools in your name." Mama Hawa dropped to her knees, sobbing. But the biggest twist was still coming. 3 days later, back in America, Denzel appeared on another live talk show. The host asked about Africa. Denzel smiled gently. "Can I take a call?" he asked, confused. The host agreed. The screen lit up. It was President Traoré with Mama Hawa beside him. The audience gasped. "You reminded us," Traoré said, "that even the loudest voices must stop and listen." And Mama Hawa whispered, "Thank you, my son." Denzel broke down again, and this time the world cried with him. Clip went viral. Donations poured into a GoFundMe set up by a student, $1 million in 2 hours. But behind the headlines, Mama Hawa was fading. She had one final request. "Promise me, no child in Burkina Faso will go to school hungry." Then she gave Traoré a scarf, the one he tied around her arm when he pretended to be president. "My first medal," she said, "and then take care of each other." The next day she passed quietly. Burkina Faso declared a national day of mourning. At her funeral, there were no velvet ropes, just tears and flowers. Traoré carried the scarf. Denzel followed. Eyes red, a barefoot boy, walked 2 days from Niger to place a note on her grave. "Thank you for raising our president." As the casket was lowered, Denzel stepped forward, pulled a necklace from his pocket, his father's. "She reminds me of him," he said. "Strong, quiet, never asked for anything." He placed it on her grave. "Goodbye, Mama." That night, under the stars, Denzel and Traoré sat on a straw mat. No words, just firelight. "She gave me everything when I had nothing," Traoré whispered. "I'll help," Denzel said. And so the Mama Hawa Foundation was born to feed, educate, and heal. Denzel committed his entire next film salary to it. But the most powerful moment, a short video he released before flying home. If one woman in a village can raise a president and touch the soul of a Hollywood actor, what are we waiting for? 100 million views. 1 week. A statue now stands in Ouagadougou, a woman holding a child's hand wrapped in a scarf. The plaque reads, "To Mama Hawa, the mother of all leaders." Denzel Washington returned home quietly. No press, no fanfare, but in his pocket was a scarf, and in his heart, a mission.